should have known something was wrong when she started wearing my perfume. My twin sister Emily never liked anything I wore, too floral, too soft, too domestic, as she put it. But one morning at brunch with our parents, she leaned in to hug me and I caught it, my scent, my signature, the one thing that always made me feel like myself. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she ran out of her own, maybe it was innocent, but then came the lipstick. The blouse I had once loaned her now styled exactly how I wore it. The way she laughed at his jokes, my husband's jokes, as if she'd been practicing. It wasn't paranoia, it was instinct. You don't grow up sharing a face with someone without knowing when they're hiding something. In Emily, she was hiding something big, so I watched, quietly, patiently, like I'd always done. And piece by piece, it all fell into place. The secret texts, the too long hugs. The way his voice changed when he talked to her, like it got lower, softer, hungrier. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I simply smiled because I knew something they didn't. If she wanted to be me so badly, she was about to learn what that really meant. Because I wasn't just the wife he betrayed. I was the storm they never saw coming. Emily always had a thing for taking what wasn't hers. Toys, attention, credit for things she didn't do. Growing up, it was harmless, annoying, but harmless. Our parents thought it was cute. I thought it was pathetic, but stealing my husband, that wasn't just another game, that was war. The thing is, when you're a twin, people assume you're the same. Same smile, same laugh, same mind. But Emily and I couldn't be more different. I built a life with him, brick by brick, quietly, carefully.
By the way, if you're curious about what happened next, subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Thank you.
She just walked in one day and decided she wanted to enjoy the view from the top floor. But she didn't know what it took to build it, or what I'd be willing to do to protect it. So I played dumb. I let her believe she was winning. Let them both get comfortable. I smiled through every awkward dinner, every fake excuse he made when he was working late. Every second her eyes lingered a little too long on him across the room. And while they tangled themselves deeper into their little fantasy, I was setting the trap. I started with small things, moved his keys, deleted one number from his contacts. Nothing major, just enough to make him question his own memory. Then came the emails. I forwarded a few sensitive ones to clients, accidentally of course, set up a few calendar reminders that never triggered. He began to look scattered, unfocused, not like himself. At the same time, I let Emily get exactly what she wanted, more of him. I stepped back just enough, encouraged her to help him out when I was too busy, left them alone a little longer each time. And the guilt, oh, it ate at them. I could see it, in the way he wouldn't quite meet my eyes, in the way she'd fidget whenever we were alone. Guilt is a powerful thing, but suspicion is the seed of collapse, and I was watering it slowly. They thought they were in control. They thought I didn't know. But they forgot one important thing. You don't betray someone who has nothing left to lose, because that's when she's at her most dangerous. I knew I had them both exactly where I wanted when Emily stopped showing up to family dinners. She used to be early, perfectly made up, all smiles and sunshine. But now, excuses. Work ran late. I wasn't feeling well. The truth, she couldn't sit across from me without sweating. Guilt looks good on her, it softens that smug little smirk she always wore. As for him, he was unraveling, slowly, deliciously. He couldn't keep track of conversations. Started forgetting important meetings. He even called me by her name once. I didn't flinch, just smiled and said, "Careful, Mark, you wouldn't want to confuse the real thing with the knockoff." That night, I left one of her earrings on our bathroom counter, deliberately. A tiny gold stud shaped like a heart. I'd seen her wear them 100 times. I placed it next to his razor and watched as the panic set into his face the next morning. "Did you see this?" he asked, holding it up like it might bite him. I blinked, all innocence. "Oh, weird, must have been here for a while." He didn't ask again, but he didn't sleep well that night either. And that's when I realized something important. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about watching them fall apart together, slowly, quietly, without ever knowing I was behind it all. Emily started texting me again, sweet little check-ins like nothing was wrong. "Thinking of you, yellow heart, and miss our talks. Cute, pathetic, transparent." I answered every one of them, because keeping your enemies close is good, but keeping your sister close while she ruins herself, that's art. The next step was easy. I gave them what they wanted. I started staying out late. Gym classes I wasn't taking. Friends I wasn't meeting, even booked a weekend retreat that didn't exist. And just like that, I cleared the runway for their little secret affair to take flight. The beauty of it, they thought I was drifting, that I was losing interest. Emily even had the nerve to mention how tired I looked lately. I nearly laughed. The only thing exhausting me was pretending not to enjoy how predictably stupid they both were. Mark started acting confident again, a little lighter on his feet, like a man with a secret he thought made him powerful. But I knew better. He wasn't powerful, he was predictable. And predictable men are easy to ruin. I installed a security system a few months before, hidden cameras, motion alerts. He thought it was about safety. I told him I was paranoid. In truth, I just wanted to know everything. Who came, who went, how long they stayed. So when I got the notification motion detected in the hallway 3:14 p.m., I knew what I'd see before I even opened the app. There she was, Emily, walking through my front door like it belonged to her. Hair tied back, keys in hand, smile on her face. She didn't even look nervous. She thought I was gone. I watched the footage 3 times, not because I needed proof, but because it reminded me of something important. They weren't just betraying me, they were doing it comfortably, and that's what made it unforgivable. First time I saw them kiss, I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I didn't even blink. I just watched the footage like I was reviewing a scene in a bad movie, badly acted, poorly lit, and way too long. His hands on her waist, her fake little gasp when he leaned in. I knew that sound. I'd heard it for years, but not in affection and manipulation. Emily was always good at pretending, but this was her worst performance yet. Still, something inside me shifted. Not rage, not sadness. Something colder, a stillness like when the wind dies right before the storm hits. That's when I knew it was time to stop watching, time to start acting. I sent them both a message, simple, unassuming. Dinner at my place, just the 3 of us, like old times. Emily responded with a heart. Mark sent a thumbs up, fool. The table was set when they arrived. Candles, wine, music, like nothing had changed. I greeted them in a dress he used to love. She noticed. Of course she did. We talked, laughed, toasted to family. I watched them relax, drop their guard. They thought I didn't know. They thought they were in the clear. So when dessert came, I served it with a smile. 3 slices, cheesecake, her favorite, and under her plate a folded piece of paper. She didn't see it right away, not until she picked up her fork and it slid out. She paused, eyes darting to me, then to Mark. He looked confused. What's that? Emily unfolded the note. It was a photo, grainy, black and white. A still from the hallway camera, her entering my home while I was at the gym. She went pale. Mark leaned over to look. His face tightened, jaw clenched. I didn't say a word, I just kept eating. Because silence is the loudest revenge of all. They didn't finish dessert. Emily stood up first, stammering something about needing air. Mark followed her like a loyal little puppy, whispering furiously as they stepped outside. I didn't move, I just sipped my wine and listened through the cracked window. I told you to be careful, he hissed. She snapped back. You said she didn't suspect anything. I smiled. That was the best part. The moment when they stopped blaming themselves and started blaming each other. They didn't come back inside. I cleared the table slowly, deliberately, washed each dish by hand, put everything back in its perfect place, because chaos doesn't always come with shouting or slammed doors. Sometimes it's quiet, surgical, designed to make them question everything. That night, neither of them texted me, but Mark didn't come home either. Perfect. By morning, the rumors had started. Small things planted weeks ago, now blooming into full speculation. Whispers at his office about inappropriate conduct. A board member suddenly pulling out of a project. One of Emily's coworkers mentioning she looked too close to her brother-in-law at a conference last fall. I didn't have to do much, just a few nudges, a few anonymous tips, one forwarded email chain. By noon, Emily called me. I let it ring. Then I blocked her. She wasn't panicking because she felt guilty. She was panicking because the world was finally seeing her without the perfect lighting. Mark came home that evening, late, quiet. He didn't knock, just let himself in and stood in the hallway like a man unsure of where he belonged. I met him with a single question. Did she taste like me? He didn't answer, didn't need to. His silence said everything. After that night, Mark became a ghost in his own home. He moved like a man underwater, slow, quiet, always unsure if the ground beneath him would hold. He didn't ask where I'd been or who I was texting. He didn't try to explain. He just existed, as if his very presence depended on my permission. Good. Emily, on the other hand, wasn't handling it well. She went from sweet messages to desperate voicemails in a matter of days. Can we talk? Turned into I didn't mean for it to happen. And then finally, you don't understand what he told me. I didn't respond to any of them because I did understand. I understood that she needed to believe she was special, that he fed her lies to keep her quiet, to keep her available. She wasn't in love, she was in competition. And worst of all, she thought she was winning, so I let her spiral. Meanwhile, I made sure the final pieces of their little empire continued to crack. Mark's firm received an anonymous tip that prompted a routine audit. Emily's upcoming promotion, suspended pending internal review. They built their affair on stolen time, shared secrets, and a bed that wasn't theirs. It was only fair that everything else got taken from them too. One morning, Mark finally broke. I made a mistake, he said, sitting on the edge of the bed like a child about to confess to something unforgivable. I didn't look up from my book. Which one? He flinched. She meant nothing. That made me laugh, cold, sharp, unkind. Then you gave up everything for nothing. Impressive. He didn't respond, just sat there, shoulders slumped, eyes on the floor. For the first time in years, I saw him clearly, not the man I married, not the man who hurt me, but the man who had lost both women in his life and still didn't understand why. And that was the sweetest part of all. By the end of the week, Emily showed up at my doorstep. No warning, no call, just her standing there with mascara smudged and desperation written all over her face. She looked smaller somehow, not physically but in presence. The shine she always carried, that smug, untouchable glow, was gone. I didn't invite her in. She started talking immediately, words tumbling out like she'd rehearsed them 100 times. It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go that far. He said you didn't love him anymore. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed, not saying a word, letting her dig the hole deeper with every sentence. Finally, she paused, eyes wide and glossy. Can't we just go back to the way things were? That made me laugh. The way things were, I repeated. You mean when you were sneaking into my home behind my back, or when you decided the one man you shouldn't touch was somehow yours to take? Her face crumpled. He said he was leaving you. I nodded slowly. He says a lot of things. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost, but then I remembered the texts, the lipstick on my wine glass, the sound of her laugh from the guest room when she thought I was asleep. She didn't come for forgiveness. She came because everything else had fallen apart, and I wasn't going to be the net that caught her. I hope he was worth it, I said, stepping back just enough to close the door between us. Her hand shot out, holding it open. Please. I'm still your sister. I met her eyes, calm and final. No, Emily, you're just someone who used to look like me. And with that, I shut the door. This time, it stayed closed. Mark didn't ask about Emily after that. He must have known what happened at the door. Maybe she called him, maybe she cried, maybe she told him I'd slammed it in her face. But if he expected me to bring it up to offer comfort, to pretend I still cared, he was more delusional than I thought. Instead, I watched him flounder. He tried to fix things in the most pathetic ways. Took out the trash without me asking. Bought groceries I didn't need. Even cooked dinner one night like grilled chicken and overcooked rice could erase betrayal. I didn't yell, didn't throw plates. I just thanked him politely and scraped it into the trash after he went to bed. Because forgiveness, real forgiveness, requires respect. And I didn't respect him anymore. The worst part, I think he finally started to see it. He flinched when I walked into the room, hesitated before touching me like he was asking for permission. His confidence, once cocky and arrogant, was gone. What was left was a man stripped of ego, holding onto a marriage he already knew he'd lost. I started locking the bedroom door at night. He never knocked. Instead, he started sleeping on the couch. Didn't ask why, didn't protest. He just knew. And Emily, she went quiet. No texts, no calls, no social media updates. She'd gone into hiding, or maybe just ran out of people who still cared. Good. Let them both live in the silence they created. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was done. And when you're truly done with someone, you don't scream, you don't cry. You just disappear from the version of the world where they mattered. I left him on a Wednesday. No grand scene. No packed bags in the hallway, just a note on the kitchen counter placed next to his morning coffee and that same bland cereal he always ate without tasting. It said, "You lost me the second you thought I was someone you could replace." I didn't leave him the house. I didn't leave him the car. I didn't even leave him the dog. Everything he had, the comfort, the warmth, the carefully built life, had my fingerprints on it. And I took every last piece with me, not out of spite, out of principle, because men like Mark don't learn from pain, they only learn from absence. From staring into the space you used to fill and realizing it will never feel whole again, I moved into a smaller place. Sleek, minimal, mine, no traces of him in the walls, no ghosts in the linens, just peace, sharp and clean. I didn't block his number, he never tried to call. And Emily. She posted a photo 2 months later, smiling with some new guy. Same fake laugh, same pose she used with Mark. I didn't react, because the truth is she didn't steal my husband. She inherited my trash. And me, I stopped being the woman who waited for apologies. I became the one who never needed them. Because the most perfect revenge is a life so quiet, so full, so untouchable they can't even find a way to ruin it. Not anymore.
Thank you for watching the video. If you want to hear more stories, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Videos are released every day. Good luck to everyone.